Hey, how's it going? My name is Pino Juarez. I go by Pino. Pretty much, I'm here giving a little information about how I pretty much started doing jiu-jitsu and, pretty much what's my journey been so far. What motivated me to start training Gracie Jiu-Jitsu is just pretty much, growing up, you watch the first UFCs and you watch the first videos that were put out, and pretty much when I grew up, it was, you really wouldn't rent pay-per-view, you'd pretty much buy the VHS. So that's how I started following, learning about Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. As I got older, UFC started, becoming more mainstream. I pretty much loved the art, but never had the courage to do it. I was active as a kid, tried doing some boxing, never, never really went anywhere as a kid. You don't really push a lot of things. Pretty much not until I turned 31 did I actually consider doing jiu-jitsu. It was first a reason for having a daughter that dealt with anger control issues and just needed an outlet kind of to deal with her stress and her anger issues. So I pretty much pulled her aside and said, hey, how would you like to do jiu-jitsu? And she was for it, and all my kids were for it. I have 4 kids, and it's the first sport that they've actually all enjoyed doing together and still do to this day. My kids started going for about 2 weeks, and I kind of looked over at my wife and said, I want to do this. And she said, well, just talk to the coach. And, I just didn't feel comfortable enough. I weighed about my heaviest 390 at the time. And I pretty much, had a goal, hey, I'm going to lose 100 pounds and then I'll start doing jiu-jitsu. That's always my plan. Never actually succeeded on it, but it was always my plan. Lose 100 pounds and, do something. I spoke with the coach that day, and I told him, hey, I would love to do jiu-jitsu, but I want to lose 100 pounds first before I decide to do jiu-jitsu. He kind of looked at me and kind of laughed and said, bro, do jiu-jitsu and I guarantee you the pounds will shed off. Don't worry about your size. We got guys here that'll work with you, and, just get that out of your head to where, you can't do this because of your weight. Right now, I train at Team Fusion MMA, Jiu-Jitsu and MMA in Nixa, Missouri. I've been going there since April of this year, 2012. There's a small gym based here in Nixa, affiliated through Triton Fight Center, which is another place where I try to go and train. They're based out of Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. With black belt instructor Pete Wilhelm, and I try to do as many journeys as I can there because they have a larger facility and a lot more people I can train with. Pretty much the changes that I've noticed since doing jiu-jitsu, I've lost somewhere between 60 to 70 pounds since I started doing it. It's just, I've been trying to do as much as I can of it, and it's just become a part of my life. And I love learning about it. I love hearing about it. I do get frustrated doing it because, a guy my size, trying to do some of the moves and techniques that you have that are out there is pretty rough. It's pretty rough for a guy of big size. Now, it's not impossible, but it is very, it's very nerve-wracking sometimes, just because you can't place your arms in certain places, or because you have a stomach in the way, it's hard for you to make a certain move or swoop, just certain positions. What would I say to people out there who don't think they are athletic enough or young enough to embark in a jiu-jitsu journey? I would say I did it. I started doing it over 30. over 350 pounds. I mean, I was pretty much the not the quite age or weight where you want to start doing jiu-jitsu, but I don't think after doing jiu-jitsu, I don't think there is really a weight or an age range where you shouldn't start. You know, you can start at 40, 50, you know, it's such a great feeling to do it. Just the feeling afterwards, the brotherhood, the bonding, that the friends that you make, you know, throughout it. I've had so much help and so many friends that have helped me. They pretty much become my brothers, you know. They've helped me out. They keep in contact with me. And, you know, they don't have to, but they do. You know, they always drop me a line, how I'm doing, you know, what I've been up to, how's everything going, am I still training? And, you know, it's a great feeling to have that. You know, I kind of felt like I was going to go through this alone. Luckily, I've always had the support of my wife, and my kids doing it kind of motivates me more because, you know, they look up to me doing it. You know, they see that I don't give up. They see how hard I try. You know, even when it's tough and it's frustrating, they still see me smile and they still see me laughing out there and not giving up, not feeling doubt about myself. What if any roadblocks did I experience that almost derailed my jiu-jitsu progress? It would have to be my weight. My weight. It was always just annoying, you know. I couldn't roll this way, or, you know, I always had that mindset that I was going to hurt somebody. That was always my mindset that, hey, you know, you roll with this guy, you're going to break a rib or an arm or a leg. That it just became to where I would roll so gently that I would have like smaller guys shoving me, rolling me, and sweeping me. And I just always felt like I could never really use my weight towards anything, because I always felt like, so it just felt very kind of felt like I was doing it to just, you know, help everyone else but myself. So I kind of came to the point where I was like, you know, I'm not getting nothing out of it. Maybe I should just stop doing it. You know. And I pretty much overcame it with just staying focused, losing weight, staying dedicated to it, and having some of the great people in my life. You know, over at Triton Fight Center, I've got a family there has just supported me since day one. You know, ever since the first day I visited the Fight Center, I've always felt welcome. You know, I've always had brothers and sisters there that have pushed me. You know, all my family is in California, and they still push me, but they kind of don't have an idea about what jiu-jitsu really is about. You know, I grew up in a family where, you know, Mexicans, boxing and soccer and things like that. You know, so jiu-jitsu is kind of like out of their realm. When I try to explain stuff, they just don't understand it. But out here, just this family that I've made has had my back since day one, and I've really been thankful for having them in my life. If not, I'm pretty sure I would have quit at least 20, 30 times. You know, it's hard. It is hard, and it's going to get harder, but harder in a good way, to where I'm starting to feel myself losing the pounds and starting to move. So now that I can move and I can do certain moves, I'm required to do them. So still not that good of doing back rolls, but I mean, I'm working on that. My professor always points that out, and I don't know. It's helped me overcome the depression of my weight. My final goal in doing jiu-jitsu is just pretty much lose as much weight as I can and become a better person. You know, be there for my kids. watch them grow up, watch them, mature in jiu-jitsu and in life, and just get as much as I can out of doing this. I've met some wonderful people, especially instructors, throughout my life, and especially throughout this jiu-jitsu journey that's just begun. I've met some wonderful people, wonderful black belts that just talking to them, I could tell they're genuine about how they feel about someone my size doing jiu-jitsu, and seeing me rolling and seeing me, put the effort in there. I try and go and do as best as I can. I never just leave it to where I tell myself I could have done better. I always try and push myself, and if I know I can't, then my brothers, and they just they're like, hey, do what you can. We're not going to push you to where you're going to hurt yourself. All we ask is that you push yourself to where you can go. And I'm very appreciative about that. But my jiu-jitsu journey is, if I can become a black belt one day, then I would love that. If not, just to be able to come out of it feeling proud of what I've done, and not feeling that I've shorted myself in this journey. And that is it. Thank you.